Throughout Unit 4, we have talked about different issues that can arise with our apportionment methods. In this lesson, we're going to talk specifically about the Alabama Paradox. The Alabama Paradox is what we call it when a state gets apportioned fewer seats, simply by virtue of the fact that the total number of seats being apportioned has increased. In other words, there's more seats to go around, but somehow someone gets less. Let's look at an example. Take a look at this country. It has 3 states that we'll just notate A, B, and C. We have a total population of 200,000 and 200 seats to be apportioned. That gives us a very simple standard divisor of 1,000. The method that's going to be used for apportionment is Hamilton's. Hamilton's method is when we round everyone down to their lower quota and then divvy out the extra seats based on which states have the highest amount of fractional part or residue. Rounding everyone down to their lower quota, state A would go down to 9, B down to 90, and C down to 100. This gives us a total of 199, so there's 1 seat left over. Making our adjustments, state A just barely has a larger residue than states B and C, so they get the extra seat. This gives us a final apportionment of 10 seats to state A, 90 to state B, and 100 to state C. That's exactly the 200 seats that needed to be apportioned. What would happen if they decide to have 201 seats rather than 200? Let's run the numbers. If they decide to add just 1 more seat so that there's 201 seats to be apportioned, we have a new standard divisor of 995.025. The standard quotas are given to us, so we can easily round them all down to their lower quota. State A rounds down to 9, B down to 90, and C down to 100. This is 199 seats. This time there's 2 extra seats to be divvied out. Looking at each state's residue, the top 2 are states B and C, so they each get an extra seat. This makes the final apportionment 9 seats for state A, 91 for state B, and 101 for state C, for a grand total of 201 seats. What happened to state A? Before we did this, the original numbers that we had were 10 seats for A, 90 for B, and 100 for C. But somehow adding 1 more seat into Congress took a seat away from state A and gave both states B and C an extra seat. This is the Alabama Paradox. It's what happens when a state gets apportioned fewer seats simply because the total number of seats being apportioned has increased. And that concludes this lesson on the Alabama Paradox.